Hey everybody, it's Tuesday and it's 2 o'clock, so that means it's time for Top 5 Tuesday. I am your host from Crate Insider, Kate Dillon here, and we're going to kick off the show with looking at what I'm going to give away today. So pretty excited about it, and I'm getting text messages at the same time. Probably need to silence some phones here and just kind of strap in and have a good time here. Let me see, I don't even see, there I am. Okay, I just want to make sure that you just never know. You never quite know if you're live or not. Way it goes sometimes. But anyway, I have some great goodies to give away today that literally just came in today, and I'm pretty excited about it. And the first of these is from our friends at ZMax. ZMax, I have a hat right here, and we're going to do a couple giveaways, so if you know what my sign said last week, then you can drop that in as a comment, or if you just create a comment, then any kind of comment, and at the end of the show, then I will do a random number generator, and we'll pick a couple of winners. So my others is, I have a ZMax t-shirt. This is really cool. I might have to keep one of these. I got a box of them, so I might have to keep one of these for myself here, but this happens to be a large, I believe, is what this one is. So just it is what it is. So I have a large ZMax shirt, blank on the back, so just straightforward. And that's just a little bit of a clue. We're going to be talking about some ZMax products today. So before I jump in, I've got a nice little demo to do for you guys today. I'm going to say hi to some folks. I see Steve's here, and Paul, and Alan, and Mike, James, Scott, hi from California, land of earthquakes and wildfires. Hey, you know what? We're in the land of hurricanes and earthquakes. That's what we roll with here in North Carolina, in lockdown North Carolina. You know, just coming fresh to you with on the heels of hurricanes and earthquakes. All right, so Tony's here, and James, and Terry, and James says he loves the Sunday show. So if you haven't caught us live on Sundays, we do Unsealed. It's me and Steve Hendren from Hendren Racing Engines. And we pretty much talk about kind of whatever. So we go current events and maybe a little bit political or a lot, depending. Just like whatever's happening in the world. And we answer tech questions. You know, a lot of times here I'll talk about products and do product type items, but there we answer tech questions. You know, those issues that you're having, you know, on and off the track there. Then and we do that. Let's see here. Michael's here, and Tommy. We've got so many people here today. Jason from South Dakota. Oh gosh, South Dakota. You know, there's a lot of people in the country that are super jealous of those of you who live in South Dakota. I am one of them. So the land of the like the final vestige of freedom in our country. I see David and Dustin and Bill and Nathan and Richard, and yeah, thank you all so much for being here. So I had the reason I want to do this demo today because I had a call yesterday from a customer who was like not sure how these pieces went together. And I know I shot a video of this quite a while ago, but maybe something had changed, so I wanted to check out for myself. And what I'm talking about today is our cold air box in conjunction with our Crate Insider flat air filter base, which of course now we have a powder coated version of that. So when you buy a cold air box, my Dominator cold air box, it comes with the cold air box, and then it has this gasket. Now, not to be confused, because these instructions were made, you know, before we ever had flat air filter bases. So these instructions show a drop base. I mean, just because that's what was available, you know, 5 years ago when these instructions were made does not necessarily mean you can't use it with anything else. So we've got this silicone rubber gasket right here, and there's two ways that we can deal with this. One of these, it shows on the instructions, is here's our cold air box right here, and it has a slightly raised lip. Like, you can't really tell, but there's a slightly raised lip right here. And I'm just gonna set this gasket in just like this, and this will keep that lip. I'll be able to show it to you in just a second here. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. But when I tilt this at an angle, you can maybe see that that plastic lip is containing the gasket a little bit. Let me see what's going on there. Oh goodness, okay, and of course I've got to drop things. I just don't have enough hands to be doing demos without multiple cameras, but it's okay, it's okay. We'll make this work, and of course I got it all out of kilter. All right, so now I've got it back in kilter, if that's even a word. There we go. And it's all contained within that lip, and it's just sitting on there perfectly. Well, our next piece is, I really don't have enough counter space for this, but I'm gonna make it work. So here's our flat air filter base, and you would have a seal that goes on top of your, on the bottom of this that would go onto the carburetor. That would be fine, but this has a lip on it too. So this lip is going to slide right over the top. You can see our raised gasket right there. I can see it in the camera. So, oh, and I've got this. Sit down there. All right. So here I can just set this on just like this. So this gasket is going to sit right inside of that air filter base. There we go. Now, of course, the other way to do it would be to put the gasket in the air filter base. That's your other option. So there's really two ways to go about this. And then the cold air box sits on top because that's where it goes anyway. But this lip on the air filter base isn't super tall. It's not meant to be. It's not super tall, so that means when you set this on there, it's not gonna like snap into place. It's kind of set into place, and that's gonna be okay. So from here, then we've got our air filter. Let me see here. I've got just pile. I've got stuff. So here we go. We've got a Walker air filter right here. I'm gonna open this up. I'm sure there's a knife around here someplace, or scissors. There we go. All right, I got it. Okay, so there's our scissors. I'm gonna open this up, and because of course I could have opened all this up beforehand, but I decided to show you, well, I don't know, I just decided to do it this way. You really are getting the play-by-play on how this works. So once you take the things out of the packages here, there we go. All right, so now what's gonna happen, we've got our air filter base out of the packaging. So now here's our cold air box with our air filter base. Now I can set my air filter right inside of here, just like that. And yeah, it's gonna slide around, but I'll tell you how we're gonna keep this all together is that for one, we have a lid. There's the lid right here. And this lid will fit, well, this lid would fit right on top of your air filter base. Just like that. Or air filter, excuse me. And these parts really squeeze together. We want that. This is really not how this was supposed to go together because, most people aren't trying to do this in front of a camera. But there we go. And we've got all this urethane to deal with right there. And then a really key part of this too is that you have an air cleaner stud. So in our case, we like to use the Joe's air cleaner stud. And this will go, of course, one side of it is down in your carburetor, and then the other side is coming out the top here, and then squishing all of this together so that it stays together. And then when you've got this whole cold air box set up, you're gonna cut this down. The easiest way to do this is like with your hood. You're gonna put this onto your carburetor, and then you're gonna slide your hood in from the side. And then you want to mark like a chalk line or wherever, and then you just use some tin snips and then just cut your cold air box down so that it will snug up underneath your hood. So that's just a quick little demo today to show you how those pieces go together and what to pretty much expect, with what's happening here. And that, the whole point of this, of what we're trying to do is not necessarily snap it together, but we want to be able to squeeze these items. We want to definitely have no dirt getting into our engines. So we're going to end up squeezing, these seals so that we can get that really nice tight fit on to our whole air filter base setup. So anyway, I hope that was helpful for you guys. I hope that we do have a video on that, but it was before we had the black bases. I think I think it was before we were doing the Walker air filters. So just I thought that would be a nice little nice little thing to show you guys. All right, so next up, I'm gonna see if anybody has any questions. Feel free to drop in your questions, and if I can answer them, I am happy to answer them for you guys. So let's see what we got here. Let's see. Some more highs. I see Ashley is here, and Norm from Arkansas. Yes, see you once a year. And IMCA Stock Car Racing. What do I need to know in Arkansas? Gosh, depends on what it is that you want to know. That is a really, really broad topic right there. And I see Lucas is here, and Gary, and big hi to Susie that's there with Gary as well, and Ryan, and Steve and Lisa Butler, and Donnie, and James, and Sean. So, Sean was our big winner when he won the pair of anti-reversion mufflers. I've got one anti-reversion muffler there on the shelf there, and when I had Andy here from Pro Fabrication, he gave away a pair of those anti-reversion mufflers, and Sean was the proud winner of that. So that was really cool, and thank you for tagging us and doing the big shout out on that. That really means a lot. It really does. It means a lot when that happens. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the 5 products this week. It's a kind of a different top 5. I like to shake things up, and for anybody who's joining us late, I want to show you what we're giving away. We are giving away a ZMax t-shirt from our friends at ZMax, and I have a ZMax hat. So I don't even know which one's which as far as like if you just leave a comment or if you know my sign, like we'll figure that out at the end. So actually I got Alex back in the studio helping out. That helps a lot. I'm gonna get him a couple of cards here where he'll be able to give me some winners later on. So because we've got some ZMax products to give away, I thought I would go ahead and bring some ZMax products onto the show. So there's not really an order here per se, but we're going to talk about 5 of the ZMax products. And so in the number 5 spot, and I think you guys are really going to like the prices here, because as I look down here, and I didn't talk about the prices on any of the things in my demo. So Cold Air Box runs $69. The black base runs $109.50. The filter runs $99, and that's for a 4-inch or a 3-inch. I happen to be using a 4-inch today. I just kind of grabbed one. It was like whatever was in that filter box was what I was taking taking with me for the show. The lid runs $78.50, and this air cleaner stud runs $36.95. So I didn't add those up, but we can all do a little bit of math there. All right, with this, next up, so our ZMax products. First of all, in the number 5 spot, I have the all-purpose degreaser, and of course this is going to remove grease and dirt and all the gunk on chrome and stainless and metallic parts and heavy machinery. There's always a good reason to have a degreaser laying around, and having a spray like this, we've got a couple of options. The whole idea is we're all going to have our different preferences on which particular products any of us like. I mean, that's why there's no just one cleaning product or one of anything. So I am excited to try this out for myself. I had some grease on my pit bike actually. Ooh, and that reminds me, so I did get you guys have no idea how much in love I am with my pit bike. So my Burromax pit bike, I have there's a 350 and there's a 750, and the 350, like, yes, I do ride my mini bike around town. I live about a half mile from my downtown area, so I just zip around in my pit bike when I want to go downtown and go my like 20 miles an hour, whatever it is, and up and down the hills, and I love my pit bike. So I do ride it around, and I just ride it on the sidewalk. I don't know, they haven't stopped me yet, so I'm just gonna roll with it. That's my philosophy. I guess ask for forgiveness rather than permission. It's really not street. It's not meant for the street. Anyway, back to degreaser. This only runs $3.99 a can. So, of course, shipping, anytime we ship anything, I don't care where we're going with it or what we're putting into a box, there's a certain expense, but as a nice little add-on to your existing order, the degreaser is a great way to go. All right, next up in the number 4 spot is, I actually love the look of this. This is the ZMax Speed Wax, and it's, of course, quick and easy application, spray on mist, leaving a high gloss finish, and right on here says great for race cars, so you gotta love that. I mean, a lot of times we're adapting one product from one place or another, but just to have it right there on there where it says it's great for race cars is just a great, I don't know, it just makes you feel good. You know, even if I'm putting it on my regular car, it makes me feel good that it's meant for race cars. So the Speed Wax is also really reasonable, and it runs $6.99. Comes in this nice spray bottle, and you know what, I like that you can see how much is gone from it, and I'm looking forward to really trying this out because I don't even know how this smells. Okay, I'm probably gonna break something if I do that. So that says off. I'm gonna have to just spray it on something. I don't have anything to spray it on. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna spray it on my hands. Okay. Ooh, I like it. Yeah, it smells like car show. That's what I'm gonna say. It smells like a car show. I don't know if I can even explain what that is, but anyway, it smells like a car show, and we're gonna find out if it is gonna wax my hands. That'll be interesting because I clearly didn't plan that out, but that's okay. So I guess I could always pull out the degreaser. It would take the wax off my hands. Who knows? All right, next up in the number 3 spot is our silicone spray, the ZMax silicone spray. So it's gonna be a lot like an SC1 or any of the other silicones that are gonna keep that nice glossy finish and try to keep dirt off of there. Well, the big thing is when you've got mud clods, you know, and if you have your car, race car, that is sprayed down with a silicone spray, as those mud clods hit, they're just not gonna stick as well. And if you don't have, you know, anytime you're carrying around an extra 200 pounds of mud in a race, probably not going to be good. You know, it's not going to make you any faster, and it will slow you down. So this silicone spray, it runs $6.99, and yeah, so that's pretty cool too. And it says it works on plastic and metal, carbon fiber even, and it restores your glossy finishes and sheds the dirt and the mud. So that one's going to be exciting to use for sure. Now, one of the biggest reasons why we brought ZMax on is these last 2 products, and the guys at the shop, they try all kinds of things, you know, what's gonna work and what they like and what they don't. And they're picky. My God, they're picky. But this is one of the reasons why we brought it on, and that is gonna be the ZMax brake and parts cleaner. So a brake cleaner, you know, it is some heavy duty stuff, works for lots and lots of things. But of course, you know, brake dust is just, you know, that's some wicked stuff. But I know they use brake cleaner for all kinds of things, just to really get that extra bit of clean on things. And this brake and parts cleaner only runs $3.99. It dries fast. It cuts through, of course, it cuts through grease and grime, and you know, doesn't leave an oily film, which is so important. You know, so sometimes it's that last step, almost like we talk a lot about cleaning and sanitation these days in the world we live in, and here, you know, you're when you're putting an engine together, you want to have like the crispest, cleanest surfaces that you can possibly have, and that's where like the brake cleaner comes in a lot of times. And so here we go. So $3.99 for a can of the brake and parts cleaner. And then before I show you my top product, and one of the biggest reasons why we brought ZMax on as a manufacturer, I'm going to see if there's any questions here if anyone has. Let's see. And yeah, Donnie said helps the wind glide off the car. Yeah, I mean, anytime we can keep them really shiny like that. Oh, and Alex is borrowing my notebook here for a second. Let's see. And it looks like there's a question, not sure, 3-inch at collector size. It appears to be 3.5, 4 inches overall size. Somebody must be asking about the size of the mufflers. And you know, oh yeah, it looks like that. What's the diameter on mufflers? That's a good question. So they're meant for these ones are meant for a 3-inch collector. So that means that we're gonna be 3-inch expanded on this side. So if your 3-inch pipe could go in here, if my pipe, and then this on the outside of this will just be a straight 3 inches. So this will be 3 inches expanded, and this will be 3 inches complete. And then I probably have a tape measure. I usually have a tape measure around here, right here. Hang on, in my bag. Here we go. So I always have a tape measure sitting around someplace. So if you're really looking for all of the dimensions, the length on these is 8.5 inches. You can see 8.5 inches. I think you can see that. There we go. And as far as the full-on diameter, we can even do this backwards. I'm just gonna stick my finger out there, and here it looks like we are at Well, I can't quite tell from there, but there we go. Yeah, 3 1/4 inches or so, if I was to eyeball it. Yeah, so it's about 3 1/4 inches when we get to this really, really outside dimension. And then, as I mentioned, like this side here is gonna be a regular 3 inches as it's coming out. And then this is gonna be a 3-inch expanded. So it's gonna be, you know, a 3-inch pipe will go in there. So it's whatever that is, like 3 1/8. You know, no pressure since I'm on camera, but yeah, there we go. So I hope that's helpful for you. The big thing is, do you have a 3-inch collector? They'll work. And then you can still put your 3-inch turn downs, because your 3-inch turn downs are still gonna be a 3-inch expanded, because they're meant to go on like a 3-inch collector, so you'll be able to put them on the end of your, if you want to use turn downs or extensions or any of that type of stuff, you'll be able to use them. All right, well, that brings us to our top product here, and our top spot this week is the ZMax 1550 Break-In Oil. So that was a question that came up. We've gotten that question so many times over the years, asking, you know, do you need a break-in oil? Do you need a break-in oil? And there are some manufacturers or some engine builders that are pretty hardcore saying, yes, you absolutely need a break-in oil. Over at Hendrens, they say, yeah, you don't necessarily need a break-in oil, but they tried out lots of different break-in oils and just really weren't impressed until they reached the ZMax Break-In Oil, and they really liked the ZMax Break-In Oil. So if you are going to use a break-in oil, not that you have to, but if you do decide to use a break-in oil, then the ZMax Break-In Oil is a great way to go. So you can just put this in. He said that he found when they tested this on the dyno, they tested it on their own car, that rather than like, I don't know, half a dozen passes on the chassis dyno in order to break in an engine like you normally would have, the engine was broken in like 2 or 3 passes. So this way you'd be able to put in the break-in oil if you're going to maybe a practice session with a brand new engine. You'd have that broken in by the time you get done with that practice session, and then you can go back home and put in your normal oil and you'd be really, really good to go. So let's see, and I see Chuck is here, and Bill, and we do have Andy here from Profab, and he is answering us and saying that the outside diameter of the muffler housing is 3.5 inches. I just couldn't tell from like how I'm measuring it in the air and all of that. So thank you so much for that, Andy. And so yeah, the break-in oil, this runs $11.99 a quart or $143.88 for a case, and I'm assuming we've got 12 in a case. What's that?
I messed up and changed the, that's for the 1030. The 1550 is actually $9.69, then $107.88.
Oh my gosh, so $9.69. Wow, that's even better. So $9.69 a quart and
$107.88.
$107.88 on the case of the break-in oil. And we do have the ZMax 1030 oil as well, but I think we found more interest or just more popularity with the break-in oil because it's something pretty unique. This is the only break-in oil that we have on the website. So with that, I think I'm gonna have Alex draw a couple of names and see if you guys have any more questions or comments or anything I need to respond to here. And I will have winners here in just a moment here and see what else everyone has to say. I can see very nice setup, probably talking about that that air filter deal. James is saying hey to you, Alex. Yep. And Gary said that Susie says hi back, so that's great. Daniel mentioned about this whole air filter base and cold air box and all that combo. He said we use this complete kit and it works great. Absolutely. Richard asked, what is the best header for a 602 motor? You know, a lot of that, Richard, is going to depend on what kind of car you have. So do you have a dirt late model? Do you have a modified? Do you have a street stock? What do your rules say? What can you run? What can you not run? Can you run, do you have to run straight tube headers, or can you run a stepped header? Are they demanding whatever collector size? Like there's a little bit more to it. There's a little more information that one would need to know as far as that goes to be able to answer that question. And great, so I think Alex has got some winners for me here. So let's go with the, first of all, the hat. And the hat here, the ZMax hat, our winner is Daniel Rowland. So Daniel, if you would, please send Crate Insider a private message with your address and we'll get that sent out to you. And then next, for the winner of our t-shirt here is Steve and Lisa Butler. So Steve and Lisa Butler, if you would, please send a private message to Crate Insider with your address and we'll get that sent out to you. So that is all I have for today. I want to thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being part of Top 5 Tuesday, and I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday at 2 o'clock for Top 5 Tuesday. Have a great week.